A big crack has been found in Africa, going through Kenya, Ethiopia, and Tanzania. It's so big that it stretches across the whole country and doesn't have any roads, farms, or houses on it. The crack is wide in some places and very narrow in others. People have tried to fix it by filling it with mud and building small bridges over it. They thought the ground might have sunk because the soil was too soft. Africa is in the middle of the earth, not at the top or bottom where it's the hottest. The reason Africa is thought to be the hottest continent is because it's where the prime meridian meets the equator, which is closer to the sun. But even though Africa is very hot, the hottest temperature ever was actually measured in the USA. Even though Africa is mostly very warm, it still gets cold there, with temperatures sometimes dropping to -23 degrees Celsius in the winter. Africa is full of bright and different colors, and it's not just the colors that are special. Lots of things in Africa are very different and sometimes extreme. For example, the 10 countries in the world with the least money are all in Africa, which is why people often say Africa is the poorest continent. Africa has lots of valuable minerals, but it's also known as the poorest continent. In 2000, Libreville, the capital of Gabon, was named the most expensive city in the world, even more than places like Paris, New York, and Singapore. But Mogadishu, the capital of Somalia, is thought to be the most dangerous city in Africa. There are 1.5 billion people in Africa, but sadly, 40% of them can't read or write. However, Africa also has the oldest university in the world, located in Timbuktu, Mali. This university is 800,900 years old and used to have 25,000 students. In the past, Africa had a population of 100,000 people. It's interesting to know that Africa has the highest rate of twin births in the world, with 50 out of every 1,000 babies being twins, which is more than in other places. However, scientists don't know why this happens. Sadly, in Africa, every 14th baby dies before going home, and this happens in many parts of the continent. Kenya is known for its great runners, especially from the Kalenjin tribe. In 2010, Kenyan runners won 126 out of 156 international marathons, but scientists are still trying to figure out why they are so good at running. The shortest war in history lasted only 38 minutes and happened in Africa. On August 27, 1896, Zanzibar and Great Britain fought this quick war. The Sultan of Zanzibar died suddenly, and his cousin took over as the new Sultan with the help of Germany. The British wanted their own choice to be the new Sultan, so they told the new Sultan to leave by 9 a.m. He refused, and when the time came, British ships shot at the Sultan's palace, ending the war very quickly. And at 9:37 a.m., the palace's flag was raised. In this 38-minute war, where 500 of the Sultan's 2,800 soldiers were killed, only one British sailor was injured. How is it possible that it is not about Africa and not about the pyramids of Egypt? But do you know that there are more than 2 times more pyramids than Egypt in Sudan? And this is also an African country. According to estimates, there are more than 250 pyramids in Sudan, although their size is very small. This is why it is not very famous among tourists. So much is happening in Africa, so obviously it will be quite big. But what is this? Why is it so small on the world map? Look at the African continent on this world map and then look at this continent of the USA. Maps can be tricky because they show the round Earth on a flat surface. This means that sometimes, the size of places can look different from how they really are. For example, Africa looks smaller than it is on many maps, but it's actually really big, about 3 crore square kilometers big. If you compare it to the American continent, Africa is 3 times larger, even though it might not seem that way on a map. The reason for this is that when we try to flatten out the Earth, like trying to flatten a tennis ball, it doesn't work perfectly. The parts near the top and bottom, like Greenland, can look much bigger than they are. But Africa, which is near the middle of the Earth, doesn't get stretched out as much and might even look smaller than it is. So, remember that maps are helpful, but they're not perfect, and the real size of places can be different from what we see on a map. Africa is so big that you could fit many countries like the United States, China, India, and even all of Europe inside it. When we talk about how Africa looks today, scientists tell us that the Earth's land wasn't always like this. A very long time ago, all the continents were together in one giant landmass called Pangaea. This supercontinent started to break apart about 20 crore years ago. If you look at a map, you can see that the east side of South America fits with the west side of Africa like puzzle pieces. This shows that they were once connected. Scientists have also found fossils of an animal called Mesosaurus in both South America and Africa, proving they were once part of the same land. Even the plants and animals in the Amazon rainforest in South America are similar to those in the forests of West Africa. The process of continents moving apart is still happening. In 2018, there was news about a big crack appearing in Africa, in places like Kenya, Ethiopia, and Tanzania. This crack is a sign that the continent is slowly changing shape. So, the African continent might not always look the way it does now. It could change over millions of years. Videos and drone images show a large crack dividing the country, with sections varying in width from 10 meters to 2 millimeters. People are using mud to fill it or building temporary bridges. Initially seen as settling soil, scientists now believe Africa is splitting into two parts. Evidence from 1970 indicates the African plate is breaking faster than expected. The rift stretches from the Red Sea to Mozambique, with the East African plate moving 6 millimeters yearly. It could lead to the formation of an island or a new ocean, or the process might stop. This change is estimated to take 50 million years, and the rift serves as evidence of ongoing geological shifts. Africa has about a third of the world's natural resources, like the valuable mineral coltan used in electronics, with around 80% of it found in Africa. The continent is also abundant in bauxite for making aluminum and is a key source of diamonds and other precious gemstones. The Sahara Desert, a well-known African feature, hides secrets like the Eye of Sahara, a mysterious formation visible from space. This desert also contains unique treasures, like the stone from King Tutankhamun's necklace, exclusive to this region. Thanks for watching Facts for You.